Alrighty, hello Claire. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for asking. I would love for you to just kickstart our interview if you don't mind and tell me a little bit about yourself or your professional career.
Okay, well, I graduated from USF in 2010 in a marketing degree. I had my own LLC for a while, consulting local businesses. I've worked in banking and I've done some office work. And recently in 2020, I went to St. Petersburg College and got a certification as a paralegal. And I've been working in the legal field for the past 4 years.
That's incredible. And thank you for sharing that with me. Now, you mentioned that you've been working as a paralegal for about the last 4 years. Tell me a little bit about what your day-to-day look like there.
Well, I always try and prioritize. That's the number one thing, being a paralegal, having multiple cases, multiple deadlines. So I always try and plan my day out the day before. I always task myself with things to do, and stay ahead of the game is basically the way you stay sane in the legal field. So I have my day laid out, but all plans always blow up. There's always a fire to put out. So you have to put that into your day. You also have to balance billing along with the tasks that you can't bill for. So I make sure that I get medical summaries due. I make sure that we're set up for mediation and trials. Trials take priority, mediation, depositions. So depending on where my cases fall in the trial deadline sheet, that's how I plan my day.
Amazing. And I can only imagine that, your work is, well, really day to day is hectic because you have your priorities, you have your trials, you have your depots. So, being timely and all of that, I'm sure you have tight deadlines with the attorneys and whatnot. I know that we spoke a little bit off the camera here in reference to parting ways with that last role that you were there for about 4 years. So if you don't mind sharing that with me again.
Certainly. I loved where I worked. I loved Shelton McKean. I loved all the attorneys. I enjoyed the work, but I really wanted more of a work-life balance. We got a month of PTO, but when we would take our PTO, we'd still have to work on our vacations because the cases never stop. Just because we stop, it keeps going. So I just wanted more of a balance.
That makes sense. And, I know you also mentioned having that work-life balance, especially when you're on PTO, you want to tend to your loved ones near you. So completely understand as to why you're looking for a new position. Tell me what piqued your interest about this role.
Well, now that I know about the company, my father actually worked in aerospace and defense. He's retired now. So I know a little bit about it. So that's awesome. That's just like the perfect fit. I love the 9 to 5. I read some ratings about the company working for the employer, and they said it was a great fit. I know that my ability and skills with orientation, calendaring, scheduling, handling stressful situations can transfer into this role.
Absolutely. And the organization part, I heard you while you were speaking upon your previous role as a paralegal, right? The prioritizing, having your to-do list or tasks. I think that also correlates into a front desk role because there's so much that you have to tackle with, speaking to the vendors who come in, you're on the phone, tackling emails. So how do you handle that more of the multitasking? How do you deal with that?
If I have multiple phone lines and I have a customer in front of me, I try and see what's the urgency of the situation. If I have a customer in front of me, I say, 1 second, XYZ company, can you hold please? And continue the conversation with the customer at hand. I'll answer, hold please, and then I'll go back. And as you said, most of the time, they might need to be transferred. If I can handle the conversation, then I will, but I'll transfer it to whoever.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing that with me. You've also worked as an office assistant at Bob Lee's Tire Company. So I can see on your resume, you worked there as a receptionist. So you already have that experience as well. You were there for about 18, about 3 years or so. So that also correlates with this position. Tell me a little bit about a few systems that you have used, or, I know it can be specifically to the paralegal or that previous company, but tell me about some systems that you're familiar with using.
Clio, which again, but Outlook, Microsoft Office, Google Drive. Yeah, that's
Awesome. And Excel, of course, all Google.
yes.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that as well. Now, as far as starting a new position, how soon are you looking to start?
November 17th, I believe that's a Monday.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Well, thank you for sharing that with me as well. I want to go ahead and conclude our interview and thank you for the time that we spent this afternoon. If you don't mind, stay on the line with me really quickly. I want to chat with you.
Certainly. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.